something close where
Need some fucking money.
closer than most. I just see so much in you, and I want a better view. Closer than most.
Othello on the bellow.
We have Versace dreams turn to nightmares. I tell them thugs don't cry, we don't shed tears. Even though my mama said that we would make it there, I was always confused, late, not a fear. Situations that'll make a change. Watching my friends die, that's in close.
Alright y'all, so we locked in again for another YouTube tutorial. Today this client wanted to get a disconnected fade. So let's go ahead on and lock in.
Appreciate it.
My name is Dita Barber and I'll be giving you all this tutorial. Alright, so we start out by throwing the top of that hair into a ponytail just to separate it from the fade region. We go ahead on and we start combing the hair down, and then we go ahead on with our closed blade, and we go ahead on and create that initial guideline in the back. Because he wanted a disconnected fade, I decided to do this one a little bit different, so I actually am going to be tapering it in the back and giving him the taper in the sides as well. So we hit it with that closed blade just to create that initial guideline. And as you can see, the guideline is put in. And we do the same thing on both sides. This guy actually drove way out from Belton, which is like a distance from like where my shop is located. But we go ahead on and we put the trimmers on there to make sure that the initial guideline is clean and crisp. So we put our trimmers on them just to bald it out completely. I decided to use my Gammas because he has fair skin and I didn't want his skin to be irritated. And the Gammas actually have a light to the touch. Next we hit him with the zero bar. And with the zero bar, I have my blade closed because I'm going to go back and hit it to clean it up. So we go ahead on and close the blade on that zero and just create our next guideline. And here you see I went ahead on and started doing a little bit of cleanup work, almost playing with the lever.
Othello on the bellow.
We have Versace dreams turn to nightmares. I tell them thugs don't cry, we don't shed tears. Even though my mama said that we would make it.
Blow dry them off, just get that hair up open.
Situations that'll make a change. Watching my friends die, that's a close range. Home life.
So next you're gonna go ahead on and take that 0.5, close the lever, and just use that scoop method to get that hair even all across the board.
Trust the soul, don't trust the soul. In my truck, yeah, I'm swerving all the potholes. Back pocket where I write my goals. Even though they're trying to keep me 'cause you rock gold.
And we just sitting in the guideline right now.
I just want the money in like 6-4.
Playing with that lever once we get ready to start cleaning up that guideline. That's when you get to playing with that lever and adjusting it where it needs to be to get that bulk line out. And continue to blow dry the client off. That way there's no hair all over them. Next we're gonna go ahead on with the wand. And see we going up with the guideline. We're going up with the one. Same scenario, blade open, going up with the one.
Closer than most.
Brushing the hair down to see what the fade actually looks like.
Closer than most.
Alright, next we got the 1.5 on, and we're going straight up with an open blade, just sitting in that guideline. With different hair types, I like to fade differently, so this is going to be a lot different from the last tutorial and the steps that I take to get this fade done. But we got the 1.5 going straight up, and we using our comb to comb down the bulk and blow drying the hair to keep the client from getting itchy from having hair all over the place. You want to play with that lever with the 1.5 to try to get that bulky line out. Usually while I'm fading, I'm always moving that lever, so the rule of thumb is just to start out with an open blade, and then you end off with practically closing the blade, but not all the way, but you close it enough to where you can get that fade out. I went ahead on and I used my Gamma Plus to get the back line put in. You want that to come out crispy as well, because if he puts his hair up, that's all you're gonna see. So I initially had grabbed my Beverly's Pros, but I kind of need to use the Gammas just because this has a light to the touch. So alright, next we picking up the comb again, and we're about to go ahead on and start with the sides. You're going to take your Gamma Pluses and make sure the line is completely bald. After that, you want to go ahead on with your open blade and use the scoop out method to get in that initial guideline. Play with that lever whenever you're going to make sure that line is faded out. You want it to be an even transition between that bald and that first inch of hair. Then you want to take your 0 open blade and knock out that initial guideline for the 0. Play with the lever to take that next bulk out with that 0 guideline. Then I got my 0.5 on, and I sped it up a little bit, but we're doing the same method, starting out with the open blade, then we play with the lever. I use my 1.5 to even it out. I use the 1.5 to even it out, because we're going to end this with a 1.5. It's faded to a 1.5. Combing the hair around the ears, putting that one guard on to make sure that that level is completely transitional between that 1.5 and that 1. Then I put my 2 to go around the ear. And with the 2, I got my blade halfway just to go kind of like around the ears to take care of the rest of that bulk. That way it's a flush fade. So technically he getting like a taper. He calls it a disconnected fade, but really I just gave him a taper in the back and a taper on the sides. Leaving a little bit of bulk in the back just to kind of make it look nice and neat. And we do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so moving along to the front of the head. This client, his lineup is not really one where you would go across the top. With him, you just would want to give him those pointy sides and maybe a C-note, but on this client, I decided to keep it very much so just simple and just give him the lines on the side. And I didn't really do too much on the lineup. I just gave him a simple C-note and a simple line on the sides. And I didn't really put too much pressure on the scalp as far as making that C-note so much more like indentual or showing, just because he has fair skin, and on top of that he doesn't really have like a lineup from the get-go. You can tell that this is a client that doesn't really wear a lineup, and you want to definitely check for that when you cutting your clients. If their hair type doesn't really seem like they get lineups, you can offer a lineup, but I mean, don't just go in willy-nilly doing a lineup, because some of these people, they don't get lineups. But yeah, overall, it was a great fade, and like I said, he came all the way from Belton, and this is pretty much the end of the fade. Okay, so this is the end of the fade, and right now I'm just gonna put on my final touches. On my long hair clients, I actually have different types of product. So with this client, I decided to hit him with some mousse, which is that white foamy stuff you were gonna see on camera in a minute. I also sprayed him down with some regular leave-in conditioner just so his hair could have that shine, and then I turned right back on and I hit him with that mousse. Also, you want to make sure that you spray the client down with that alcohol to make sure to prevent any bumps, diseases, rash, or what have you. My client actually loved the fact that I used the mousse on his scalp, because he said he never saw mousse before, but I love the mousse. It gives it a great hold and a great bounce, and you can buy different types where it gives you like a softer hold or a stronger hold, but overall I love that mousse, you see what I'm saying? And it creates that shine. And I love to use this on my long hair clients. You can also use it on your clients that have waves as well. And I'm lathering him down with the mousse, just to give his hair that decent bounce. Working it through with the hands, and that's it, because he's rocking it like Shaggy. You can get this song Versace Dreams in the background online in all stores.